I go. Floating on your screen, I'm the daydream queen. Black Barbie style, can't put a ring on me. Kids and businesses, yeah, the juggle is real. Hit that like, hit the sub, let's seal the deal. This is Vaughn's reality, baby, tune right in. Soft glam, big goals, we all just here riding. If you came for the tea, on the kettle, no lying. Welcome to the world where the queens always win. Switch it up. Bad bitch, you want the tea, got Lipton packs in the back. A whole lot going on, better grab you a snack. If you want a live stream, hype me up in the chat. Play with the queen, got your ass snap back. Boss in my bloodline, every move back with facts. Vaughn's reality, yeah, the fam stay stacked. I'm the moment, the glow, the vibe you can't hack. Step into my world, you ain't never going back. You said you were looking for me, here I go. Get ready for Vaughn's reality show. We gon' up and survive, yeah, you already know. Play it in the streets at work or right at home. You said you were looking for me, tune in close. Watch the elevation and the petty unfold. From the glam to the grind, baby, this my zone. Vaughn's reality, welcome to the throne. Since y'all were looking for me, I'll give you reality. I heard y'all was looking for me. Yeah. Here I go. Floating on your screen, I'm the daydream queen. Black Barbie style, can't put a ring on me. Kids and businesses, yeah, the juggle is real. Hit that like, hit the sub, let's seal the deal. This is Vaughn's reality, baby, tune right in. Soft glam, big goals, we all just here riding. If you came for the tea, on the kettle, me.
Here I go.
Yeah.
Floating on your screen, I'm the daydream queen. Black Barbie style, can't put a ring on me. Kids and businesses, yeah, the juggle is real. Hit that like, hit the sub, let's seal the deal. This is Vaughn's reality, baby, tune right in. Soft glam, big goals, let the magic begin. If you came for the tea, I'm the kettle that spin. Welcome to the world where the queens always win. Switch it up. Bad bitch tea, got Lipton packs in the back. A whole lot going on, better grab you a snack. If you want the live stream, hype me up in the chat. Play with the queen and got that ass smack. Boss in my bloodline, every move back with facts. Vaughn's reality, yeah, the fam stay stacked. I'm the moment, the glow, the vibe you can't hack. Step into my world, you ain't never going back. You say you were looking for me, here I go. Get ready for Vaughn's reality show. We going up, it's a vibe, yeah, you already know. Play it in the streets, at work or right at home. Yeah, you said you were looking for me, tune in close. Watch the elevation and the pretty unfold. From the glam to the grind, baby, this my zone. Vaughn's reality, welcome to the throne.
Since y'all were looking for me,
I'll give you reality.
always win. Switch it up. Bad bitch, you want the tea, got Lipton packs in the back. A whole lot going on, better grab you a snack. If you want a live stream, hype me up in the chat. Play with the queen, got your ass snap back. Boss in my bloodline, every move back with facts. Vaughn's reality, yeah, the the fam, stay. I'm the moment, the glow, the vibe you can't hack. Step into my world, you ain't never going back. You said you were looking for me, here I go. Get ready for Von's reality show. We gonna be survive, yeah, you already know. Play it in the streets at work or right at home. You said you were looking for me, tune in close. Watch the elevation and the petty unfold. From the glam to the grind, baby, this my zone. Von's reality, welcome to the throne. Since y'all were looking for me, I'll give you reality.
Okay. Hey, y'all. Hello. Hey, Joe, Javar, best friend, foster mom. Hey. Good morning. Happy Monday. Before we get started, I would just like everybody to know that today is Monday. I have some content to react to, give my perspective on, you know, questions, comments, and concerns about. I hope y'all can hear me good because KJ is watching Garfield on Netflix, child, and I tried to get him to go in his room, but he wasn't going. And I'm not even pressed too bad about it because I don't plan on being on here. Okay. So let me get straight to the point. Make sure y'all hit the like button on your way in and out. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I am currently going through something and I am just not my best self. My bad, y'all. So, yes, I'm currently going through something. I'm not my best self. I feel like it's just like the beginning of a breakthrough, when y'all know what they say, child, when you give your life over to the Lord, he give his, strongest battles to his toughest soldiers. And I'm just kind of feeling like that right now. Faith is, it can be, keeping your faith can be challenging because you're going to be tested, right? I'm not new in, knowing who God is. I'm new in faith. And I say that out loud and in front of people, y'all, the public, because I like being transparent, and transparency can be a good thing. Oversharing is always bad. But I've learned, that being honest about what you're going through does not make you, strange. Or not strange. Being transparent about what you're going through allows other people who could also be going through something know that they're not alone. I just feel like this is the season where God is really showing me a lot of stuff. And I'm gonna be really honest with y'all. It's like, what do I do with this, and how do I handle it? Hold on, y'all. This is why I wanted him to go in the other room. Hold on. Um, yeah, okay, so back to what I was saying. He's showing me a lot of things, and I feel like, the enemy, he tries to make you, give up. Like he puts you in a position, not to put you in a position, he comes in to steal, kill, and destroy. And I feel like, he's trying so hard to kill, my faith. And, he wants me to give up. And it's like, I'm just holding on to the hem of his garment, y'all. And I just wanted to share that with y'all before we get into the content. So, like, if you're going through something, just know you're not alone. I know when we pray and when we talk to God, it's like a personal one-on-one thing. And you can feel like, you're by yourself, but we just have to remember that God is with us. And, he's with you. And that's, I think for me, that's the challenging part is like, I'm so used to, having like a friend, to confide into, or like, and don't get me wrong, like I confide in, like a trustworthy person. The thing is like doing the work, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, keeping my faith and knowing that, I'm not by myself, God is with me. He's, first of all, he's gonna handle it, but also being like, yo, it's in his time and not in my own. And that's the challenging part for me. I think we all have a sense of wanting to, or even being the type of person that has to have your hand on everything. So when you, say that you believe in God and you trust him, he puts something, in front of you where you really have to trust him. It's like, whoa, okay, this is when, the fight, not the fight, yeah, but the fight. This is when it's like, are you going to trust God? Are you going to lean to your own understanding? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, she said, I just went to that website and I feel set up. Why you feel set up? Okay, so y'all, that is my best friend's link to her website. She is an entrepreneur, okay, strong Black woman, okay. I told her I was going to drop her link to her website when I went live, and I'm going to keep to my word. No, she did not ask me to do this. I offered to do it for her because she's my friend and I want her to be successful in life. Okay. Hey, Drip King. Okay, so I hope I said hey to everybody. So, this content that I'm about to do has a lot to do with my spiritual beliefs. Right message, wrong messenger type of thing. However, I'm going to give y'all a different perspective. Hey, lovely. Hey, girl. I'm going to give y'all a different perspective on how I think we should start, being open to not just truthful advice, and also not looking at people, in a who are you to tell me type of way. Because I watch Married to Medicine. I'm a huge fan of all the doctors and the doctors' wives and the wives on the show. I love all of them. But last night's episode, first of all, I just have to say this season has really gotten on my nerves for so many different reasons. Last night, Curtis, Dr. Jackie's husband, gave his opinion on King and Quad's situation, and a lot of the viewers, the world, feel like right message, wrong messenger. They're even bringing up the fact that he transgressed against his wife. So I'm watching this and I'm like, I could, be like, who is he? But I feel like, I'm going to say this. His delivery could have been better. His delivery could have been better, but he was absolutely telling the truth. And no, I am not, judging anybody who's had children outside of marriage and is still not married, because as y'all know, I have 2 children of my own that my husband and I had before we got married. And we have 2 children that we had while we were married. So my perspective on this situation, I feel like I'm more than happy to give, because I can give y'all some of my own personal experience of being out of order. I know a lot of people may think, you know, church people, religion, y'all start building y'all relationship with God and y'all want everybody to be like y'all. No, that's not the case for me. For me, it's just more so, when you see somebody, doing things a certain kind of way, and they themselves are saying that they believe in God, or they, pray to God, or they have a relationship with God, that's how you that's how you talk to them. You tell them the truth, you give them the word, you just keep it real with them, because this is who they say that they are, or this is what they say that they believe. But I find it funny how, and I'm gonna even say, even for myself, I've been in a few conversations where I wanted to do what I wanted to do, and when my wise counsel is counseling me, I don't like what they're saying, because it's not what I want to do. But what they're saying is actually what God wants for me, or I should be in alignment with what God says we should. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so it just tickles me that we as believers, or people who claim to be believers, get offended when you tell them the truth. You know what I'm saying? The truth that they claim to believe in, and even respect. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna play this clip, and I'm gonna play some other clips to back up basically what I feel that Curtis is saying is true. Not only is what he's saying is true, it's like, if you sit back and you assess the situation, there's a whole lot of out of order, going on in this situation. But I guess it's a problem because Curtis, cheated on Jackie. But here we go.
Could be in the way of having a
hold on.
Complications that could be.
Hey, look, it's been a minute since I've been on here, so y'all gotta give me. Okay, there we go. All right. Wait, can y'all still hear me? It say y'all can hear me, but we just gonna play this.
In the way of having a kid. You guys are complications that could be in the way of having a kid. You guys are living together, you are playing husband and wife, and you're not married. In the Bible, that's a no-no.
We're not going to weaponize the Bible against me right now. We're not going to do that.
You talk about sex before marriage. You are out of order.
I think those are medical complications, not necessarily due to order.
I love Curtis, but this is low. You're too young to have.
Now, wait, can y'all hear me? Okay, y'all can hear me. Wait a minute. I hope y'all couldn't hear me slipping on my drink. But anyway, so I agree with what he said about being out of order. Like I said, I feel like the delivery could have been better. Okay. And I'm going to go back to playing the clip.
Dimension to say something crazy like that.
Hey, let me just say one thing. Like, everybody says all these things, right? But who's going to cast that first stone, right?
Mm.
Who's going to cast it?
Mm-hmm.
So really, man, you do what you do. I have no judgment, because you know why? It's none of my business.
I mean, it's 2025. We're doing it on our timeline. What works?
Now, here is where I'm like, wait a minute, because Dr. Damon, y'all know Heavenly is my absolute favorite. She and her husband, well, she's not in this scene right now, but anyway, so Dr. Damon says, well, who's gonna cast the first stone? It's really none of my business, so y'all do what y'all do. all the men, just like the women, you know, may bring an issue that they're having in their personal life or amongst the group, like the friendship circle, to the circle. And that's when you give your honest opinion. You give your advice on how you know, feel about it. Now, that could be really how Damon feel. He could feel like, you know, it's not really my business, not my problem. However, I feel that for him to say, like, you know, well, who's to cast the first stone? Like, what? You know, what, why? So we're going to bring up what Curtis did, what, dang near 8 years ago, okay, to basically dismiss what he just said to King, as if what he's saying isn't true. And where it's not, to me, it's not that Curtis was weaponizing the Bible. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm going to show y'all a clip where King is talking to Quad and he's like, you know, this is the natural order. And it's like, oh, so when you're saying it to your spouse, it's okay. You know, it's okay for you to bring up natural order of things when you want what you want, you know, but when you're coming to the group and you're like, hey, we're having fertility issues. He's also told this group he don't know if he really want to be in this relationship. And to me, you know, like I said, I have 2 children outside of marriage and I have 2 children in marriage. To me, the issues that they are having while trying to conceive a child is where the out of order. It's like y'all aren't even on the same page in your house. Y'all don't even want to live together. Because if you watch the show, Quad doesn't even want to leave her home and get a new home with this man that she's trying to have a baby with. And I'm going to show y'all that clip after I show y'all this one to like further land my plane of, I don't think what Curtis said was wrong. I just don't. Okay. She said, great message, wrong messenger. Had he phrased it another way, like, you know, some of the mistakes I have made, I have paid dearly for my mistakes. Had I put God first. Okay, exactly. Like I said, I feel like his delivery could have been better. We're gonna finish playing the clip, y'all, so I can, you know, get my point across. Because I'm like, okay, hold on.
Works for us.
I can't agree with that. Faith has a lot to do with it.
I don't think Curtis is the right person to be telling us God's order right now. He needs to do a little bit of self-reflection and hold himself accountable.
Doing things the way God has prescribed it for us.
When has Curtis not held himself accountable? If you watch the show, he has apologized to Jackie. We have not known him to have any other side chicks. And the thing is, y'all, and I'm not justifying what he did. What I'm saying is Curtis has still shown up to this show after publicly humiliating his wife. He has supported Jackie on the show. He's been talked about in front of the scenes, what we see on the show behind the scenes. How has he not held himself accountable? In the past, I can honestly say Curtis does not do too much chiming in on the couples and their relationships. I respect that. Why? Because as a person who has problems in their own relationship, you're not so quick to speak on other people and their relationship. However, the ladies have said this behind Quad and King's back. Y'all not even married and y'all trying to have a baby. So I respect him for saying this to King to his face and not behind his back like everybody else is doing. Do y'all get what I'm saying? It's like he's keeping it real with him. King, wait, hold on, wait. Let me play this part and then I'm gonna say what I gotta say.
To do it has a lot to do with it.
Curtis, that's not it. There's no perfect time. There's no perfect time. It wasn't the right setting. It wasn't the right moment. And I want you to take it back. I want you to take it back.
You say you pray and you believe in God and you believe in this and all that. God gives us rules to live by.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you this, Curtis. Have you abided by all his rules?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Okay.
We all sin daily,
Absolutely.
okay? And we ask for forgiveness and move forward.
Absolutely.
And I asked for forgiveness this morning.
There you go. All right.
And I'm going to ask for forgiveness right now for what I'm about to do tomorrow morning. So
Okay.
I'm trying to stay a step ahead of the game.
Okay, implications that could be.
So King asks him, have you lived by all God's rules? And he's like, no. Once again, holding himself accountable. So in this next clip that I'm about to show y'all, hold on, y'all. Let me give me a second. You know, he held himself accountable right there. He didn't come off as being perfect and, you know, goody two shoes. He like, you know, nah, I ain't did everything God has told me to do. But you say you pray and, you know, you believe in this and that. And I didn't see anything wrong with Curtis saying that, because me as a believer, if I'm coming to somebody with my problems, right? And they're like, wait a minute, Vaughn, how you and they remind me like, yo, you know, you say you believe in God, but you're not acting that way. You're not, you know, you're not believing, you know, what you say you believe in. It'll be like, you know what, maybe I need to rethink this. You know, hold on, y'all, hold on. Okay, so I can exit out of that because we watched that. Let me see. This is what I'm trying. Okay, this is what I'm trying to show y'all. So let me tell y'all why I'm saying what I'm saying about this conversation, okay? About this whole situation. So watch this.
She's my doctor.
So it's like he's speaking, you know,
He does.
and I got a lot of respect for Jackie because she's been supported this whole journey.
She's my doctor.
So it's like he's speaking against us and his wife at the same time. It just didn't add up.
I don't even think he was realizing what he was doing.
Well, I can tell you right now, Dr. Jacqueline Walters didn't know a damn thing about it. If she could read his mind, she would have just looked at him and said, that ain't it.
First of all, everyone's talking about marriage, but is it really necessary? It's like sometimes two companies may not need a merge.
Well,
They could thrive on their own and they could benefit each other.
Watch yourself.
Hey, SBK, bro. Okay, she says Jackie and Curtis have put in the work. Right. She seems like she's, you know, moving on, happy. Like I said, they seem like there's been a change in their relationship. So y'all see how when he's bringing this conversation to Quad, and she's giving her opinion, like, you know, well, I don't think Jackie would have respected what he was saying. I'm not going to get into that, but here's what I have to say about that part. When she's like, you know, no, King is saying like, you know, you coming at me and your wife. No, when Jackie and Curtis were having fertility issues, it was because when they got married, they were young. Hey, Miss WD. And Jackie has dealt with cancer twice, from what I know, right? Breast cancer, right? So her fertility was stolen from her. I have a whole lot of perspective and opinion and about that, but we're not talking about that, right? Y'all see how they were on one accord when somebody's coming against them. That's good in a relationship, you know. Oh, they coming for us, you know what I'm saying? However, in this same moment when they're talking about what was said to them, King starts to talk about their relationship issues. And I'm like, this is why people are saying what they're saying, because speaking from experience of being married young, having babies before we were married, I would give my daughters and my boys and my sons advice based on my experience of, you know, having children before you're ready. A lot of people think, you know, if you have a lot of money, you know, you're successful. Raising children isn't that challenging, and that's not true, because keep in mind you're having a child with another person. And if you and that person are having issues in your relationship, and then you bring another person into it, a child that y'all both have to raise, you know, and shape into a decent human being, if y'all can't get along by yourselves, just it being the two of y'all, why is it a smart idea, or even a good idea, a wise, there we go. It's not a wise idea to bring a child into that situation. Keep in mind, Quad and King were just introduced to us last season, and they were in the honeymoon stage of a relationship, and now we are here in this season and they're trying to have a baby. So moving too fast, okay, being out of order, you know, I'm gonna say out of the will of God, can bring you more problems than blessings. That's just the honest to God truth. A lot of people may feel that's not true. I'm a single mom. I've raised my kids all by myself. God blessed me. That's not the point that I'm making, because if you take care of your children, God will indeed take care of you. Whether your man or woman, husband, wife, whoever you laid down with, taking care of them, that was supposed to help you take care of them kids, isn't there or not. But in this case, we have two people who are clearly moving too fast, don't agree about where they're going to live, don't agree about, you know, who should be the head and, you know, who should be the submissive. It's like it's a mess already. And now y'all are trying to bring a kid in it. And you have two people who also say they believe in God and they respect God. But it's like when somebody says, yo, you know, because what I would have said was, well, you know, have you gone to God about this? I promise y'all, I would have said that. Have you talked to God about this? Because that's something I've been learning to do. You know, when I have issues in my relationship, finances, person, whatever the issue is, I really be like, okay, Lord, what you want me to do? So I am 1,000% on Curtis's side, okay, because somebody needed to tell them. And we're gonna watch the rest of this so y'all can get a better idea of what's going on.
I've thought about it a lot. You yourself said, hey, I haven't been giving you what you deserve, what you need.
Did I do anything today in terms of acts of service?
Steam those clothes?
No, I didn't steam his clothes.
What I need is consideration and appreciation.
Honey, oh my God, do you need a hearing aid? All I do is give you praises. There has never been one time when you have shown up for me, I scream it to the top of my lungs, ready to tell any and everybody. Now that is a true statement.
Screaming it versus showing it, two different things.
Okay, how would you like for me to show it? The floor is yours. How would you like for me to show up?
For instance, the last time we went to Ghana, right? The whole time there, I'm there in support of you. And because of what you're going through, you're beating up on me, acting like I was the enemy. Wrong or right?
About what?
Everything. There was a lot of tension. I look at that, it's like, damn, you're ungrateful. You see how that could come off?
Okay, I hear you.
Yeah.
But I'm still working through some things, right?
Have the two of you tried to modify things that you took away from the couple's trip?
I will say hands down. I tried. I did a whole lot of self-reflecting. I did all that I could do.
It's been a different type of year.
Yeah.
It's definitely been different.
But if I'm out here doing it by myself, then
no, you definitely didn't do it by yourself. I tried to the point of exhaustion. I definitely tried.
Well, we're gonna disagree here.
Yeah, we could agree to disagree.
Yeah.
I'm still not trying to put you to the test, baby. I don't have. Let me see.
It definitely feels like a test.
But that's what's wrong with men now. Men are sassy now.
No rebuttals. Just keep going.
Are you trying to be difficult?
I'm the one that's picking up the pieces. So,
Baby, don't count me short and don't count me small. I go through a lot, but I'm very strong and I'm very tough. And again, I always bounce back and I get better every single time.
she knows up.
She does.
And I got a lot of respect for Jackie because she's been supported this whole journey.
She's my
So while I'm pulling up the next clip that I want to show y'all notice how there isn't effective communication amongst those two. There seems to be a lot of tension and to me, competition of who's carrying the load and who's not carrying the load and who's putting in more work versus who, it's like that's not, y'all are not like in agreement on anything. And it's honestly kind of triggering to watch because it's like, if you've been in a long-term relationship, that there are times when, y'all are on two different pages, However, like I said, this conversation, this situation is based around trying to bring a baby into a situation. And like I said, I have 2 children, that I had before my husband and I got married. And how I look at it is a lot of the things that we went through as young parents and even as a young married couple, we could have saved ourselves a lot of trouble had we, done things in order. Giving ourselves more time to grow as, a couple instead of rushing into things. And in this case, it's also very triggering because, you see women and men, who have success and, they are financially set. And I personally feel that Quad really wants to have this baby, not because a lot of people's like, oh, she's just doing this trying to beat Dr. G to having a baby. That could be the case. I don't know. To me, I feel like she doesn't really care if King is going to be a present father. I kind of feel like she is like, I can have this baby on my own and I don't need your money. I don't need, your support. I don't need your protection. The reason I'm saying that is because of this next clip that I'm going to show y'all. And to me, it's like, what? I'm gonna play the clip and then we can go over it. I'm gonna play the clip so y'all can see it for yourself so you can have a better understanding of, my opinion.
This home is significant to me. It's very special.
Not necessarily moving into your house. Maybe we could both come out of our comfort zones and get something together.
This home is significant to me. It's very special to me. This is my first home that I purchased on my own.
You can always rent it out.
Now, it may be a man's ego. Hey, I'm not moving into a woman's house. That's her house.
That's definitely.
Come on now, why can't you forego your ego?
It's not about ego. It's about some natural order of things.
You tripping right now. This is a cultural thing. King is a man's man, and I understand where he's coming from. But I, too, don't want to be in a position where a man is holding a house over my head every chance he gets.
I don't really see myself necessarily moving into your house.
So y'all are trying to have a baby. Okay. Now I want y'all to keep this in mind. This is last season. This is a clip from last season. Here we are, 2026. They're airing, that they're now trying to have a baby. But just last season, you know, he's like, hey, I'm not comfortable moving into your home. I'd rather us get a home together. And she says in the confessional, well, I don't, you know, my house is significant to me. You know, I don't want a man holding the house over my head every chance he get. He just said, let's get a house together. He also told her, well, you can rent your home out. He is looking for a compromise. And honestly, the compromise that he's giving her isn't wrong. Why? Because if you are going to have a baby with a man, you should be able to trust that you should be able to trust him. She's showing that she don't trust him. He is expressing, you know, to me when he's like, you know, hey, you know, let's rent your house out and we move in a home that's both of ours. It's like she's trying to control the relationship. She doesn't trust him to lead their relationship, which is why I'm like, that you're trying to have a baby with a man and it doesn't make sense to me. So when Curtis, you know, was like, you know, this is out, y'all are out of order. I agree with him because as a woman, you know, why be with somebody that you don't have children with? Let me just throw that out there, okay? Because, you know, me being me, the person that I am, I'm going to be honest. With as much success that this woman has and the money that she has, you know, why would you try to rush into having a baby with somebody that you clearly don't trust? That makes no sense at all. Like none. And I get it, you know, like he said when he was talking with amongst the men and he's like, you know, it's 2020, you know, 5, you know, I mean, or he said 2026, 2025. I don't know what he said, y'all, but he's like, you know, we doing things different. Well, you're not even comfortable with how you're doing things. And I personally feel that, you know, King really does not want to have a baby with her, not because, you know, it's like she's just trying to, it's all about what Quad wants and how she wants to do it. Where does he fit in? He has said that in the confessionals. He said that to the men, you know, but he doesn't want to admit it because, you know, it probably make her look bad. But in so many words, and it's quite obvious that she's controlling the relationship so much that you as a man have no say-so in where y'all live. And I understand that we're living in different times and women have more money than their spouses or the men that they're dating. But as a woman, you know, a married woman, I have to be honest with y'all. I don't want to be in control of everything in my relationship. I don't want to be in control of everything in my marriage. You know, that's not what marriage is. That's not how partnership works. And the audience, the viewers, you know, being offended that Cecil brought, you know, God, it's like, but even King himself said to Quad, you know, the natural order of things. And she was resistant, like, oh no, that's just your male ego. Is it his male ego or is it the truth that as a man, no man wants to move into a woman's house? It's to me not a real man. And if he does move into a woman's house, you know, he's going to handle things as if it's his own home. A lot of people don't think, yes, KJ. A lot of people think those type of situations don't work. Me personally, I've seen some things work. Okay. Him moving into her house isn't the problem. What I see is the problem is a man who's he can't be a man in his home. He can't. It's like I feel like his masculinity is being kind of it because they're not together right now, y'all. I just want y'all to get some straight. King and Quad right now in this moment that I'm speaking, they're not together. It's been made known public that they're no longer in a relationship. And King, I'm actually glad that they're no longer together, and I'm going to tell y'all why, because I don't think a child should have been brought into that situation. Why? Because I see King trying to be a man in a situation where, you know, a woman and her power is more her, you know, I ain't gonna say her masculinity because that's not what I'm trying to say. I just feel like it just didn't need to be done. Okay, nobody needed to have a baby in a situation where, you know, the woman isn't willing to compromise with the man. That's what I'm trying to convey to y'all. It's like I know what I want to say, but you know, anyway. So, hey 3000. You know, Quad is, like she said, she's a strong woman. There's nothing wrong with being a strong woman. But when you have a man that's willing to work with you, and I think that's the point that went over a lot of people's heads, because he's getting a lot of backlash for his attitude towards her. Even myself as a viewer, it's like, I don't like the way he's treating her. But if you go back and watch the show and you're paying attention, there's no room for compromise for him to be a man. She's not allowing him to be a man in their situation. She's taking control over their situation. And him being the kind of man that he is, you know, he's not that kind of guy. And you can tell that. A lot of people are saying, oh, he just wanted clout, you know, off of her, and I disagree. The fact that they started off really good, hot and heavy and spicy, you know, it was good to see her in a nice, loving relationship. But I just don't see the point in making yourself a baby mama. And I'm not even trying to like come at nobody like that, y'all, but that's really how I look at it. Like, you know, if you have made it past a certain age and you didn't get, you know, pregnant by some man, you know, why rush into trying to have a baby? You know, I understand that she's older and her clock, you know, the clock is ticking, but it's just not wise to me. And I'm saying all of this, y'all, because I want y'all to hear me out about something I have read a long time ago. I can't remember where I saw this at, but it was said that when a man sees that a woman is trying to get him into bed, you know, like she's over sexual, something inside of him, it like raises a red flag, because, you know, yes, as women, we like sex, you know, we have a sexual nature, but when a woman is like trying to beg you, you know, and it's kind of weird, and it's like, man, you know, he will become distant. He will back up because there's something not right in this situation. You know, what's going on here? And that's kind of what I'm seeing with Quad and King, that she's so desperate to have a baby. You can tell she's also not interested in his wants and his needs, which is probably why he's treating her the way he's treating her, because he's like, wait a minute, you know, and you know, they've talked about in the show how they feel, well, he feels that they kind of rushed into this and that she's changed. And I've heard that when you're taking fertility drugs, you know, it does change your hormones and you be a little out of whack. And, you know, you have to have a really supportive spouse. And if not, it can ruin your marriage, let alone just a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. I've heard fertility treatments have destroyed marriages. So I'm not surprised that he is feeling the way that he's feeling towards her, because there is no real commitment between them. And I'm not talking about just the marriage part. I'm saying they don't agree. She does not want to rent her home out and move into a home with her boyfriend, who is saying, in my opinion, he's not being selfish. He's not being inconsiderate. He's like, hey, he's not saying sell your house and let's go buy a new house. He's also making sure that she's going to have money in her pocket if what their situation doesn't work out. And I feel like you have to look at those things, and not only a man, but in a woman too. So I don't feel that he's totally at fault here. And I'm not saying that she's totally at fault. What I'm saying is, as people, we don't like to be told the truth when we want what we want. We can be offended by the truth when the truth is the truth. And I'm just going to take it a step further and say, if you say you believe in God and you follow Jesus Christ, when somebody, is, telling you like, hey, you out of order, you're, you kind of all over the place, I think you should take heed. And the reason I'm saying this is because let's just say, how about maybe the reason she can't get pregnant and the reason he can't get her pregnant is because God is trying to save them from putting themselves in an even messed up predicament. Bringing a child into a situation where their parents cannot get along at their big age. Like, because, I know it's like, hey, but, Vine, we got to consider her age. When we're older, we're a little wiser. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I was a young mom in my 20s. I got pregnant at 21. At 32, no, my tubes are tied because I have 4 children. I stopped having children when I recognized that, hey, this may not be the best decision for my family. You know what I'm saying? To keep having children on top of children on top of children. At 32, am I going to bring a 5th child into a situation that may not be the best for that 5th child? At 21, I thought totally different. Hey, we can do this. We can get through this. And don't get me wrong, we did. Even though we had to go through some things, God has, blessed us in many ways. You know what I'm saying? But people don't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? I seen people in the comments like, oh, but children are a blessing from God. Yes, they are. But at their age, I just feel like they should, not want to put themselves in a position where they're fighting over custody. Oh, you don't spend time with this kid, because you resent me. You know what I'm saying? Like, for those of you who've had children, and you have baby fathers and baby mothers, keep it real with yourself. The choices that you made when you were in your 20s and teens, would you make them now in your 40s and 50s? Or even your 30s? Would you make those the same decisions? I'm going to be honest with y'all, I wouldn't. If I could go back, I would still marry my husband without a doubt. Would I be quick to bring a baby? No. Would I be quick to have my 2nd child? No. Do I regret my kids? No. Do I want my kids to grow up and think that, a household doesn't need 2 parents? No. A household does absolutely. We see statistics on children growing up without their fathers, without their mothers. And we've also, and like I was saying earlier, being a single mother or a single father is not the end of the world. It does not mean that God is not going to bless you and your child. But had you known what you know now, be honest with yourself. Wouldn't you have put yourself in a better situation where you're raising a child with someone that you get along with, that you want to build with, that is not just interested in their wants and their needs, but what's also best for that little person that you bring into the marriage, and to the relationship. And let me just also say this. There are plenty of couples who are not married right now, and they have better relationships than married people. Why? Because they agree. Do y'all like? And that's what I just want to get across. If I don't get nothing else across, I'm not coming at Quad and King for not being married. That's the least of their problems. They don't agree. They don't agree. Without a child around, they're not in agreement with each other. They're not aligned with each other. They're not, you know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the part that matters the most. You know what I'm saying? You can have a couple with two different religions that agree on certain things. They have a respect for each other. You know what I'm saying? They have lines and boundaries that they don't cross. They have an understanding. If you don't have an understanding in a relationship, you have nothing. If you don't have respect, if you don't have agreement, I just want to keep bringing agreement. Okay, Javar says, if I was a single independent father, I would definitely get a lot of opportunities. Not to mention, give me a new wifey. You know, y'all ladies love them single fathers that know. Yes, that's true, Javar. You know, in this situation that I'm speaking of regarding Quad and King, King is already a single father. He already has a child. And which is why I'm going to assume that they were both okay with having a child outside of marriage, right? No big deal on that standpoint, because they agreed, like, hey, we don't have to be married. However, because of the mess that was brewing in between them and the constant butting of heads, and them, like, I'm gonna say, falling apart so easily, because the reason why I say they're falling apart so easily is because all of this is happening in front of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot going on, and they can't seem to maintain their relationship, on camera. That a child don't need to be there. I love my children, y'all. I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. However, when you are a real parent, you're a mother, a father, or you've taken on the title of a parent, a guardian of a child, you know that you have to make decisions for what's best for the kids. And when you make mistakes, or even, let's say you're hold on, y'all. When you make mistakes and you see how those decisions and mistakes and errors affect your kids, it just gives you a different outlook on things. Parenting is not for the perfect, but it's also not for the weak. And I don't believe in I just really don't believe in being a certain age, and it's only because of because a lot of, like, especially Black women, we wish we would have waited to have our kids, because we see the, like I said, the decisions and the mistakes that you make, and you feel like, man, I would have been able to be a mom. Well, I'm gonna say the women that I talk to whose children are grown, they don't regret having their children. They just recognize that if they would have done things not even necessarily the right way, because I could have had, you know what I'm saying? I'm not even talking about marriage, but they recognize that they were kids themselves when they had kids. And now that they're a little older, they're a little more patient. They got a little more money. They have a better of a vision versus just winging it. So that's all I got to say, y'all. There's nothing wrong with wanting a child. Just keep in mind that, it's a lot of people who are raising their kids by themselves that wish they had a marriage, or at least a 2-parent household. And I just don't think it's wise to go off having a baby by yourself. You know, I just don't. I do not. I don't think it's wise to make such a decision like that. When we see how the world is, and we see the statistics of children growing up without their fathers and mothers, and you know, it's like, you know, I just think sometimes we take things into our own hands and we don't consider, you know, what God may be trying to protect us from. And I think in this situation, it's a blessing that they're not together anymore. And who knows, y'all, they may get back together, and they may be back on the same page, in agreement, in alignment. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, and that's what I mean by, you know, hey, Curtis's delivery could have been a lot better. You know what I'm saying? But he's right. They're out of order. All the way, in so many different ways. These people are out of order. And, you know, the truth can be offensive at times. I know there's some things people say to me that I don't like, but hey, it's the truth. Okay? So anyway, y'all, I'm going to go. How long have I been on here? I've been on here for an hour. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Like I said, I'm not my best self. You know, just, you know, pray for me. Don't pray on me. You know, keep God first in everything that you do. You know, sometimes I feel like, you know, I'm totally out of order, and then something will happen that lets me know God got his hand on me. You know, not to be so hard on myself, but you know, y'all, life is challenging. We face challenges every day, all day, and just try not to give up. And that's all I got for y'all. And like I said, I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Don't forget to hit the like button on your way in and out. I may see y'all on the YouTube streets. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't think I'm going to be on the YouTube streets this week because, like I said, I got, you know, some things I'm getting together in my life, and you know, a lot of people call it the pruning season. You know, God is pruning you, Vaughn. You know, and yeah. So make sure y'all keep putting out this great content. There's plenty of it. If you disagree with what I'm saying, I totally am okay with you. Let me know down in the comment section. I don't care. I can do another live, and I can have a open panel discussion if y'all want on what y'all think of this. Hit me up in my email. You got my, if you have my phone number, let me know in text message, or like I said, just let me know in the comments. Hey, Vaughn, I want to go live with you and talk about this, and I can strike up a live. Other than that, I love y'all. I see y'all later. And I hope everybody has a blessed day. Okay? Bye.
Here I go. Floating on your screen, I'm the daydream queen. Black Barbie style, can't put a ring on me. Kids and businesses, yeah, the juggle is real. Hit that like, hit the sub, let's seal the deal. This is Vaughn's reality, baby, tune right in. Soft glam, big goals, we all just here riding. If you came for the tea, I'm the kettle, no lying. Welcome to the world where the queens always win. Switch it up. Bad bitch, you want the tea, got Lipton packs in the back. A whole lot going on, better grab you a snack. If you want a live stream, hype me up in the chat. Play with the queen, got your ass snap back. Boss in my bloodline, every move back with facts. Vaughn's reality, yeah, the fam stay stacked. I'm the moment, the glow, the vibe you can't hack. Step into my world, you ain't never going back. You said you were looking for me, here I go. Get ready for Vaughn's reality show. We gonna be survive, yeah, you already know. Play it in the streets at work or right at home. You said you were looking for me, tune in close. Watch the elevation and the petty unfold. From the glam to the grind, baby, this my zone. Vaughn's reality, welcome welcome to the throne. Since y'all were looking for me, I'll give you reality.